like to call the Park County Commission meeting to order. If you please rise, repeat pledge of allegiance. Scott Maggle.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first thing on the agenda is a public hearing. So this will be to amend the FY 2025-26 budget.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution is to amend the fiscal year 25-26 Park County budget. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Park County, Wyoming held a public hearing on Monday, July 20th, 2026 to make amendments to the current budget. Or sorry, today's date, Tuesday, July 21st. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners that the 25-26 fiscal year budget is hereby amended and shall incorporate the following changes. Increasing revenue items, increased capital projects to $2,291,824.85. Increasing expenditure items for the county engineer to $12,825.82. Increased capital projects, $1,390,056.97. Increased land and environment by $22,953.49. Increased public health officer by 96 cents and increase the opioid fund by $8,457.62. Total expenditure increase of $1,433,894.86.
Any questions from the board? This is a public hearing, so I'll open up to the public. If anybody has anything to add, please come forward, state your name and speak in the mic so it can be recorded. Any public comment? One more time, any public comment?
Mr. Chair, I'd move to close the public comment or public hearing.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Be resolution
Well,
2630.
That
We gotta
was
close
supposed to close the public hearing.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the resolution amending the fiscal year 25-26 Park County budget as stated.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to close the public hearing, amending the 25-26 Park County budget as proposed. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I just want to mention that, you know, in the last several years, we've always been pretty tight with the departments of trying to really, you know, cut out any over budgeting. So things are tight and, you know, things come up that are unexpected. We already have one this month and we'll be in the bridge. We know about the bridge up South Fork. So, I mean, it seems like we missed it, but in reality, I think this is not overly, you know, the amendments needed for legalities, but I think that our budget did pretty good.
I would also comment that the 1,390,000 basically had to do with the library funding rolling in and out through the grants. And we can't really always predict when those monies will be received or requested, so it rolls into different budgets.
Well, and I think I'd add too that the increase in increased revenue items was higher than the increased expenditures. So any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, just one point of clarification. I think it got read incorrectly. The number was, I think on the land and environment was 22,553. I think it was read 593 or
Oh, sorry.
just a point of clarification for the record.
Any further discussion? You had a motion. Yeah, okay. Hearing that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thanks.
Resolution 2026-34.
Just a question. Oh, okay, because on here it said 36.
It says 20.
Oh, it's actually 34.
Oh, yes.
And
Okay.
then the next will be 35 and 36.
Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is approved the FYI 2026, 2027 budget.
Mr. Chair, are we starting, do you want us to start with a motion or is Steve, are you gonna, did you have anything to add? No, okay.
Well, I think, and just to make note, this was held last night at 6 o'clock. No public comments at that particular meeting. And that's about all I have to add.
And the budget officer read the budget summary into the record, and if anybody wants to go look at it, it's all available online. So with that, I would make a motion to approve the fiscal year 26-27 budget as presented.
Second,
With
Mr. Chair.
salaries, amend that to say with salary changes will occur
August
on
9th.
August 9th.
Oh, okay. I'll make my motion that the salary adjustments be approved starting August 9th.
All day.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the fiscal year 2026, 2027 budget with the salaries taking effect August 1,
August 9.
August 9.
Sorry.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next on the agenda, we have consent agenda.
Chair.
Yep.
Two resolution numbers.
Okay.
Resolution for the income is 2026-35, and resolution for the appropriations is 2026-36. Thank you.
Thank you. Approval of minutes from July 7, 26. Approval of payroll, approval of vouchers, approve and sign monthly earning and collection statements for the clerk of district court and sheriff. Approve and allow the chair to sign the TANF FFY 2025 Q3 report. Approve and sign Bright Futures mentoring lease. Approve and sign Jackson Hole land and trust lease. Approve and sign the Cody Partners space request. Approve and sign Deaver and Willwood irrigation assessment rolls. Approve and sign Cody Conservation District lease.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Then moved and approved to sign the consent agenda as presented. Any other discussions? I just have one question, and I don't know who wants to answer this or can. The Jackson Hole land and trust lease, that's at the complex.
The office at the complex.
Okay. All right.
And Mr. Chair, I don't know, just on the three Cody Partner space requests, there was two that overlapped each other with times. It was like the knitting and the bridge club, but I'm assuming the Cody Partners has that figured out. They can share the space.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have our update on the development regulations and standards. Commissioner O'Hill.
Yes, we're getting closer. We have been working, chapters 5 and 6 have been sent out to the board and the commission members. Chapter 5 deals with subdivisions. Chapter 6 is application procedures for all the applications used in the planning and zoning area. So planning and zoning had a work session last Thursday, worked through several issues there. County commissioners will have a work session this afternoon, starting at 1:15, and go over some of the issues that are still not determined yet, how we want to put them out. The goal is to have the document ready by the end of the month to go back to the consultant for final setup and be released to the public somewhere close to August 13th is what we're looking at date wise. So I think there's just a few things left to review and go over what the public is asking for and if we've met some of that. So that's where we're at.
Thank you. so we're a little early, but we have a public comment for agenda and non-agenda items. Not to include public hearing comments. Before we get started on that, I would like to take some time to recognize Lauren Groskoff. He passed away July 10th and was a commissioner from 2011, 2018. And while I never worked with him as a commissioner, spent a lot of time as a sheriff with him, and great asset. Sorry to hear him go. And some of you have worked with him, so I don't know if anybody has anything to say, but we're certainly going to miss him in the community.
These were big shoes to fill.
Yeah, he was a good hand. Yep.
Mr. Chair, I helped Lauren get elected the first time, worked with his campaign. And he would actually make the trip to Powell to come to meet with me, which was different.
Yeah.
But he, along with Joe, are always a figure on the 4th of July on the patio at the Dollar. And Lauren always had his big, huge red, white, and blue hat on constantly. So yeah, we're gonna miss Lauren.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we'll open up to public comment. If you have anything to add, we ask you to come, take the mic, state your name for the record, and we try to limit it to a little bit of time, but unless there's a lot of people, we're not gonna, we're gonna try to limit it to about 2 minutes or so, but please come forward.
Morning.
Morning.
Well, good morning. My name is Vince Venata, Commissioners. I wanted to put something to bed here. There was a letter that you all had sent to me back in February. And I apologize it's taken me this long to get back to it, but it's been a little bit busy. And I don't have a paid staff or volunteers in this context, but I want to address the issue about the letter of February 17th that you all had sent to me. My response today is provided to you in a packet format, and it's here. It's kind of thick, but the letter is only 4 pages. And to that point, I have provided you with a detailed response with enclosures to substantiate the points I bring up. And the Park County Republican Party passed their resolution in November of 25, and you all provided a copy of that. And the resolution was in opposition to the Wyoming taxpayer-funded money being used to fund government-funded associations and government-to-government lobbying, which the resolution speaks for itself and what the point that people made. So the point I want to make in the end here is, instead of making statements about other government's entities and what they do, it's my hope the Park County Board of County Commissioners would lead the way on this matter and take the actions outlined in the resolution. I don't have time to take any questions. I have a Zoom meeting at 10 o'clock, but I'll leave this all with you here. If you have any questions later on, I'm always available to answer them. Okay, thank you.
Mr.
Sure.
Chair. Mr. Venata, we received the resolution, and I think it's been stated on multiple occasions that the Wyoming County Commissioners Association does not use taxpayer dollars to fund lobbying salaries. And so that just needs to be stated for the record.
Well, I appreciate you stating that for the record. But when you read my letter, what I think you will see in there is I've done my research. I've pulled the 990s for the Wyoming County Commissioners Association. I've pulled the bylaws for the Wyoming County Commissioners Association, and I've pulled the articles of incorporation. Nowhere in there is that stated. If it's not in writing, it's not occurring. So those are official documents that are filed with the Secretary of State's office and the federal government, and I don't see them in there. So despite what people may say, that's not what the 990s, bylaws, or the articles of incorporation are stating, for the record. And that is in my packet. And like I said, I don't have time to answer questions this morning, but everything is in there, and the enclosures back up everything that I state in that letter. And I ask you to read it. And if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out.
Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have a question, but I do have a statement I'd like to to be open to, you know, and we had our public hearing last night on the overall budget, and I didn't see you here, and I don't know whether you've reviewed it or not, but I'm gonna give you one quick example, and that's on PILT. And if you payment in lieu of taxes has increased exponentially because of our association directly or indirectly with the WCCA. That increase just last year would pay our dues for over 40 years, just in 1 year because of that. So you saying that this is taxpayers' money is not helping is absolute wrong. And that's just one small example. That's a 3.9 million of our revenue source this year. It has increased over $1 million. And it was because of direct or indirect of the WCCA.
Well, you wouldn't have seen me here last night because I was on a meeting last night with the state GOP for 4 hours,
It wasn't a
32
question.
minutes
I'm just saying that's,
and 28 seconds. So I was on a very long meeting last night.
that's fine.
And and I couldn't be in 3 places yesterday evening. It just didn't work that way. But once again, it's 9:45 and I do have to be on a Zoom at 10 a.m. this morning. And I'd be willing to answer your questions.
I don't have any question. I just
written
said, I'm
format.
asking you to look at the benefits from it and the returns.
Okay. And I think my point on the issue and the issue of the resolution, which was brought up by the Park County Republican Party, who are residents here within Park County, the vast majority of them taxpayers, property owners within Park County, brought up this concern last year. And while I certainly understand your position that the benefits that come, when we look at the state statutes regarding meetings of governing bodies that are taking place in a quorum and they're done secretly, and they're not published.
You know that.
It was held at a public library, Mr. Venata.
Okay.
Also, Mr. Chair, I have one statement and it's not a question, so Mr. Venata is free to leave. However, I would just like to state that Mr. Venata did receive our letter for the regarding the NCSL and our response, and did not read it to the Park County Central Committee after reading the letter that was written to us by a state legislator. He did not read that letter in response. And so that to me shows that it's an inconsistent application. And I just want to reiterate, regardless of what has been stated, the WCCA director has stated on multiple occasions, and it is imperative that taxpayers understand that taxpayer dollars are not used by the WCCA for lobbying. And that's the end of my comment. And so
Okay,
if
thank
Mr.
you.
Venata needs to
My
leave,
comment,
he's
my
free to
comment,
go.
what has been stated there is taken out of context. What I stated to my central committee was that I did receive a letter from you all, and that when I responded to you all, I would be advising the central committee what was in my letter.
Mr. Venata, did
This
you
is-
or did you not read our letter to the
Talking-
central committee?
Thank you,
That's my
Commissioner Mooney. I'm
question.
talking to the chairman. So I did tell the central committee I would be responding. Okay, and since we have 2 precinct committee people in here, they're aware that we had bylaw changes, we had county conventions, county caucus, county convention, state convention. We had preparation for elections coming up, a plethora of things that came up, endorsements, and didn't have time to get to it now. So at our next meeting in August, I am going to be presenting your letter. I am going to be presenting my letter because, you know, to your point, Mr. Scott, you bring up the issue of you wanted people to know the truth. So I think it's important to have it from both perspectives so they have a balanced presentation. They understand your all's position. They understand the position that I've researched. And then they can make up their minds.
Sure,
This
and I
is-
know you got to go, but I guess to the point of you had enough time to read one letter, but not the other one.
We submitted our letter
I-
in February. We submitted our letter.
Yes, it was on
March
February
2nd.
6th, and then I received yours on February 17th. And quite frankly, no, I haven't had time.
At a meeting to read it?
I have,
Email?
no, what I stated was, and I'll repeat myself, that when I did my response to you all, I would present both, is what I stated. And that was in the March meeting. Said I had received one from the county commissioners, and when I do my response, I will provide both. And as you can see from that packet, there's a little bit of research done into that. It's about a ½ inch of paper. So I did my due diligence, looked at everything you all stated, looked at everything that the Central Committee had, looked at the state statutes, looked at the filings, and then presented what I think is a comprehensive response. And now I will respond to the Central Committee. And for the record, this is why I think there's an issue with conflicts when you have members of governing bodies as part of a private organization such as the Republican Party and the county commission. This is why we have conflicts, because when we have precinct committee people who are sitting commissioners and involved in a process like what happened with the assessor and using what took place in the meeting as dialogue here in this meeting here, there's a conflict.
Mr. Chairman, we have a public hearing right now.
Oh, okay.
So
Thank you.
thank you for your time. I hope you enjoy reading it. Like, once again, I'd be willing to answer your questions after you've looked at it. Have a good day.
Thank you. So next on our agenda, we have a public hearing. No, we're a little early, aren't we?
No, 10 o'clock. Oh,
Huh?
It's 10:12.
10
Oh, I'm
o'clock.
sorry.
Yeah,
All right.
It is 10 o'clock. I read it wrong.
it's okay.
You want to ask him that?
Mr. Chair, just as a point of clarification, I think it needs to be known to the public that we are duly elected precinct people. And some of us serve as precinct committee people. And so the implication that there's a conflict does not have legal ground. We verified before we attended that meeting that we serve as a precinct committee person separate when we're at that meeting. We are not serving as a commissioner when we attend that meeting, and that needs to be stated for the public record. Additionally, I would like to say as a precinct, as attending these meetings, our letter was submitted in February. The endorsements that happened with the Republican Party did not happen until June 26th. And so the assertion that that letter of response could not be read, I do not agree with.
Thank you. Any more public comment? Any public comment? So I think what we'll do is stay on the meeting. In case somebody comes in between now and 10 o'clock is when our public hearing is. So we're just kind of in limbo till 10 o'clock.
See if I can find that email to send you.
Mr. Chair, since
Yeah.
we're still kind of in public comment also, I think it would behoove this body to maybe consider requesting a statement from the WCCA, from Jeremiah Ryman, the director, that taxpayer dollars are not used for lobbying purposes. That has been stated multiple times, and this misinformation and that keeps getting shared in the community it's just misinformation, and it needs to be solidified from the WCCA. So I would like to maybe consider that we ask for a letter. Mr. Venata has submitted his documentation. I think that a letter from the WCCA should be submitted in response so that he can also read that to the Central Committee so that the Central Committee members are well informed of or have a full amount of information.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to also include a statement that reiterating that the meetings that we do have are open to the public.
Absolutely. I have seen that shared on social media multiple times, secret meetings. The last WCCA meeting was held at the Albany County Public Library with open doors and people coming and going throughout the whole meeting. So it's most certainly open to the public. Anyone's able to come in and attend and listen. Anyone's able to come in and talk to members. So the assertion that it's held in secret is completely false.
Thank you.
That's down to the agenda. It's not 9:50. Oh, shoot.
It's all right. At work. Fine. It's from Trevor Alexander and I'll forward it to you.
What's that?
That email is from Trevor Alexander and I will forward it to you.
Okay.
What is it on?
It's the one on unclaimed property. I
Oh.
think it needs to go to Colleen and Barb, not us, but Scott needs to make that decision.
And this one?
No, it's there at the bottom, just where the lines are.
Oh, okay.
Yep, just down there. Here we can, I just don't want to use the envelope because they give me an envelope.
All right, let me do it while he's gone.
Oh, you're stand up.
Yeah.
Whatever became is that delivery of mail.
Did we get a response?
Oh, yeah. That's there last night. Sorry.
Living, you don't want people living there. Building, there.
And also nobody touched the budget hearing.
Answered.
Mhm.
Some of these I was probably absent. Or not. Do I sign these? Were any of these here that I didn't pay attention? You just X me out.
Good about typing in absent if I don't want you to. see
Okay.
some.
Okay.
So you gotta remember, these are from.
I'm supposed to read what I'm signing?
June. Just where your signature goes. It would say absent if you were not. But these are all June, old June.
Old June stuff.
Yeah. June.
Okay, it is 10 o'clock. We'll start our public hearing. We have Angela Decker and Kim Dillon with planning and zoning. This public hearing is on the siege.
Hmm.
Siege.
Sieg.
C. Simple subdivision 340 application and final plat.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chris Sieg, on behalf of Sage Creek Woodworking LLC, submitted a simple subdivision permit application. And actually, let me back up just a second. The staff report packet was provided to you and the applicant in advance of this public hearing, and all facts are within the packet, and I will now summarize key findings from the material. The complete packet will remain in the official file in the Planning and Zoning Department. As I was saying, Chris Sieg submitted a simple subdivision permit application. A final plat application was also submitted. The applicant is requesting approval to create one 7.52 acre lot and one 5.85 acre lot for residential use from an existing 13.37 acre parcel. The applicable regulations are the Park County, Wyoming 2025 Development Standards and Regulations. This proposed subdivision is classified as a simple subdivision. Ownership of the property was affirmed by a warranty deed. The parcel is located approximately 1.5 miles, and that's straight line distance from Cody city limits. The property is on the east side of County Road 3EX, also known as Sage Creek Road. The property is not located within 1 mile of a municipality, therefore a municipal review is not required. Proposed Lot 2 is developed with a single-family residence and associated septic permits and outbuildings. Much of the property consists of a sloped terrain, increasing in elevation from west to east. The planning director consulted with the applicant surveyor, and the county engineer to determine if concerns related to slope could be reasonably mitigated where a home is intended to be built on proposed Lot 1, the northern lot. That information was included in your packet. The proposed subdivision is in the general rural 5 acre zoning district, and lot sizes as proposed are consistent with that zoning district. Public notice requirements have been met. Relevant agencies were notified as required, and those responses were included in your staff report packet. One written public comment was received from a neighboring landowner who is in favor of the subdivision. No new roads are proposed or shared driveways are proposed. Steep slopes and rock falls are evident on the property. The applicant has provided written consent from all adjacent landowners that a perimeter fence is not necessary. Application submission requirements for sketch plan and preliminary plat have been met. I'm changing finding number 40. I accidentally had a carryover from P&Z before that had been met. Should this subdivision be approved and development occur, conventional small wastewater systems will likely be sufficient. Domestic water is proposed for Lot 1 by an individual on-site well. A water sample was collected from a well within a half mile of the property. Total dissolved solids were detected at 562 milligrams per liter, which is above the advisory range of less than 500. High total dissolved solids does not propose a serious health risk, but can cause water to be colored and taste poor and stain. All other analytes tested were either not detected or in the satisfactory range. The applicant has not proposed any changes that would expect to impact neighboring agricultural activities or related uses. No stream or river is within or adjacent to the proposed subdivision. No common maintenance of facilities is proposed. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the subdivision application at their June regular meeting. All required notes have been placed on the final plat. And a subdivision improvements agreement is not required since no applicable improvements are proposed or incomplete. Should you recommend approval of the application and final plat of this subdivision, staff would recommend the following conditions. Condition 1, approval of this final plat shall expire after 18 months unless the final plat is signed by the chairman of the board and recorded by the clerk and recorder. Upon written request in advance of the date of expiration and for good cause shown, the board may grant one extension of time for a period not to exceed 6 months. Condition 2, The applicant, in the presence of a member of the Planning and Zoning Department staff, shall record the final plat and all required final plat submissions in the office of the county clerk and recorder. And condition 3, the applicant shall otherwise comply with standards in the Park County Development Regulations and the minimum subdivision requirements as set forth in Wyoming Statute 18-5-306. We stand by for questions.
Questions for staff?
Oh, yeah.
This is a public hearing, so I would open it up for any public comment. Anybody wishing to comment, please come forward, use the mic and state your name for the record. Any public comment? One last time, public comment.
Mr. Chair, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Then move to second and close the public hearing. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the seed subdivision, simple subdivision 340 application and final plat with staff recommendations.
Second,
Then move to second to approve the seed simple subdivision 340 application and final plat. Any further discussion? Just clarification, these don't have to be separate.
No.
Okay, all right.
No.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. The next item on the agenda is a public hearing at 10:15, so we'll have to wait till 10:15.
Mr. Chairman, that would be resolution 2026-37.
Thank you, Colleen.
Mr. Chairman, the only time they're separate is if there's an SIA agreement
That's what I thought.
and then the plat.
Okay, 15. And we have Kim Dillman and Erica Decker with Planning and Zoning for a public hearing on Erickson subdivision preliminary plat.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the staff report packet was provided to you and the applicant in advance of today's public hearing. All facts and findings are within that packet. I will try to summarize some of the major findings, but all of those findings and facts in the packet will stay in our office. So in April of this year, we did receive a major subdivision preliminary plat application from Brian and Callie Erickson. The applicants request approval to re-subdivide Lot 6 of Western Hills subdivision. If this is approved, it will create a 2-lot major subdivision. One lot will be 7.38 acres and one lot will be 1.478 acres. Each will be for residential use. The regulations that we're following are Park County 2025 Development Standards and Regulations. I did mention this is classified as a major subdivision. The subdivision is in a GRP zoning district. The lot sizes as proposed are consistent with that zoning district. The property is developed. It has a pre-existing single-family residence, an accessory housing unit, and an unpermitted accessory structure. This property is not located within 1 mile of any municipality. Planning and Zoning Commission reviewed the preliminary plat on June 18th of this year. They recommended approval. They had conditions. Those were in resolution 2026-16. Public notice requirements have been met. Relevant agencies were notified as required. Park County Fire District 1 is able to provide fire protection. Park County School District number 1 is able to provide bus service. Garden Light and Power stated the property is in their territory. They will be able to provide electricity. They currently provide electricity to the residences, the 2 residences on this existing subdivision now. What Garland Light and Power, though, is requiring is to get to the west lot, which is lot 2, they will require a new service line going down the boundary of that subdivision. Shoshone Irrigation District stated the proposed subdivision will be provided irrigation water. A water distribution plan will be needed to show how each lot will receive water off of this private line. And we do have, Mr. Chairman, we do have a water distribution plan from Shoshone. I should mention too that the assessment fees to Shoshone have also been paid. Northwestern Water stated that they can provide service to the 2 lots, and they will also require a new stub to what will be the western lot, which will be lot 2, should this be approved. They will require a new tap. MDU stated gas is currently installed to both locations, both of the residences, and MDU will require a easement for the service line that goes from the residence on lot 1 to lot 2. So MDU will not require a new gas line to come from Barrows Road. They will require the gas line, I believe, that currently exists that goes from the residence on lot 1 over to proposed lot 2. They will be fine with that. They'll just require an easement. And if I didn't say so, Garden Light and Power will also require an easement for their electricity line. Park County, Powell Clark's Fork Conservation District provided a soils report. You had a chance to read that. I won't reiterate what they found in that soils report. Park County Weed and Pest found noxious weeds. They will require a long-term noxious weed management plan. Park County Treasurer's Office stated property taxes are paid in full. Park County Public Works had some responses that they shared with us, and then we shared it with you. Public Works considers Barrows Road a public road. However, Barrows Road is not a is not a county road, and it does not receive county maintenance. Public Works also stated that proposed lots for the subdivision are proposed to have direct access to Barrows Road. Public Works classifies this road as a residential road. And Public Works said that in their opinion, that should the subdivision be approved, it will not change the use or function of Barrows Road. Public Works recommends that both property owners of these proposed lots be party to any shared improvements or maintenance agreements for Barrows Road. And Public Works also said right-of-way permits will be required for any driveways coming off of Barrows Road. And they also said a stormwater runoff and erosion control plan will not be required. Mr. Chairman, we've not received any public comments. Notice requirements have been met. We do have a title report. This property is in mortgage, and we have not yet received evidence from the mortgage holder saying they're willing to consider a partial release. However, as I think I mentioned before, irrigation assessment fees have been paid. An HOA or participation in a road maintenance agreement will be required to specify the responsibilities of Lot 1 and Lot 2 lot owners, their responsibilities for maintenance, snow removal, and drainage facilities. The applicants have collected signatures from 3 neighboring property owners consenting that a perimeter fence is not necessary. However, consent signatures from all neighboring property owners, as far as to our knowledge, have not yet been collected. A groundwater exploration cut was made in December of last year to a depth of 9 feet, 6.5 inches. Groundwater is not discovered. A percolation test was also completed on, I should say the groundwater cut was also made on Lot 1. A perk test was also completed on proposed Lot 1 in December of last year. The perk rates range from 27 to 40 minutes per inch. The applicants request the board allow them to follow the wastewater requirements for simple and minor subdivisions, which would be the subsurface evaluation and not DEQ review. The applicants propose northwest water taps to provide domestic water to the lots. However, if the applicants do not secure northwest water taps and instead propose on-site domestic wells, they will be required to submit a report to DEQ evaluating the safety and adequacy of that proposed water system. This parcel is not, I should say this current lot is not located in an ag overlay district. Again, I mentioned the irrigation water distribution plan has been approved by Shoshone. However, an irrigation water distribution plan will be required from the state engineer's office, and we have not received that yet. Also, a subdivision improvements agreement will be required for the subdivision. And again, it appears that livestock can legally run at large on lands adjacent to the proposed subdivision. So the subdivision is subject to the Wyoming statute regarding perimeter fence. And again, that means that either an existing legal fence needs to be, evidence needs to be shown that that exists. Written consent from all landowners would need to be presented, or the applicants would need to present plans to construct a perimeter fence. Mr. Chairman, we have staff recommendations. Should the Board of County Commissioners choose to approve the preliminary plat for this subdivision, we recommend the following conditions. Number 1, the applicant shall provide all easements as requested by applicable utilities and special districts, irrigation districts, or public agencies providing services. The width of any utility easement shall be sufficient to allow adequate maintenance of the system, but in no case shall such utility easement be less than 20 feet in width. Easement shall be identified on the final plat. Mr. Chairman, I'll mention one more thing I forgot to mention before. You will notice at least one place on that the preliminary plat, there is a recommended 10-foot easement. The applicants know those need to be at least 20 feet. Our second recommended condition, the applicant shall place the following note on the final plat. Each lot owner is required to participate in any existing or future road maintenance association of Barrows Road. Number 3, the applicant shall place the following note on the final plat. Any proposed water wells on a subdivision lot shall be permitted by the Wyoming State Engineer's Office prior to installation. Number 4, the applicant shall place a notice of the Wyoming Right to Farm and Ranch Act of 91 on the final plat. Number 5, prior to final plat review by the Board of County Commissioners, the applicant shall provide adequate evidence addressing the merchantable title requirements. Number 6, prior to final plat review by the Board of County Commissioners, the applicant shall submit a water distribution plan that has been reviewed and approved by the State Engineer's Office. Number 7, prior to final plat review by the Board of County Commissioners, the applicant shall submit an approved long-term noxious weed management plan for recording with the final plat. And number 8, Prior to final plat review by the Board of County Commissioners, the applicant shall submit an HOA and or evidence of participation in a road maintenance agreement to address lots 1 and lots 2 maintenance responsibilities of Barrow Road to the Planning and Zoning Department. Further, a note regarding the HOA or participation in the road maintenance agreement shall be placed on the final plat. Number 9, prior to final plat review by the Board of County Commissioners, the applicant shall submit evidence that domestic water taps have been secured by contract from Northwest Rural Water for each lot, or a letter of recommendation from the DEQ resulting from the submittal of a study evaluating the proposed water wells or water supply system. Number 10, prior to final plat review by the Board of County Commissioners, the applicant shall provide evidence of 1, an existing legal perimeter fence as prescribed by state statute, written consent from all adjacent landowners, a perimeter fence is not necessary, or 3, plans to construct a perimeter fence consistent with state statute. Number 11, prior to final plat review by the Board of County Commissioners, the applicant shall submit a complete affidavit of subdivisions compliance with Wyoming statute regarding the fencing requirement. Number 12, prior to final plat review by the Board of County Commissioners, the applicant shall submit an appropriate subdivision improvements agreement addressing all applicable required improvements. For review by staff, approval as to form by the county attorney, and approval of the board. Number 13, the board's approval of this preliminary plat shall be effective for 1 year from the date of board approval. If a complete final plat application is not submitted within the time limit, all approvals shall expire. And number 14, the applicant shall otherwise comply with standards in the Park County development regulations and minimum subdivision requirements as set forth in Wyoming statute 185306. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and we're happy to answer any questions should you have any.
Mr. Oberfield?
Just one, and it's kind of unusual, but I heard you state in the first part of it, you were talking about the existing buildings and structures on the properties. You mentioned one unpermitted accessory building. Does that have to be permitted through this process, or is that a separate issue? How is that handled?
I believe, Commissioner Overfield, Mr. Chairman, I believe that structure has been in existence for a long time.
Okay.
So will likely, if I remember correctly, not require a permit for that.
Okay, just.
But good question.
Mr. Teal?
Kim, I'm looking at the conditions. Explain to me the difference between condition 2 and 8. They read the same to me.
Yeah, Commissioner Teal, Mr. Chairman, if Erica helped me, if I remember correctly, number 2 was a recommended condition from P and Z. And at the time, we didn't know if there was already a road association formed. And if so, we feel like the lot owners should join it, or if there's one in the future, they should join that association. But regardless, we need some kind of evidence of how they will participate in the maintenance of, for lack of a better term, maybe their portion of Barrows Road. So to me, they're related, but they're slightly different.
What would, Mr.
Yep.
Chairman, what would be required as evidence?
Of
I
either.
mean, condition 8 says you provide evidence. And I mean, if it's on the plat, you can't. They say the same thing to me. I don't know what evidence you're looking for. They put it on the plat, they put it on the
Put
plat.
on the plat or record a road maintenance agreement.
Right, and they
Yeah.
both say put it on the plat.
Yeah,
Or-
yeah. And there are a lot of different ways to do that, or an HOA or disclosure statement or record a road maintenance agreement. You know, I think number 2, Erica, do you remember? It seemed like with P and Z, they wondered if there was already an association that was maybe formed that we didn't know about it. And if so, if they find out, join it.
So I'm thinking that the difference is condition 8 is they want them to have a road maintenance agreement with each other. Where condition 2 is if there are any future road maintenance agreements out there, that they agree that they would join any of those agreements should something come about eventually for the entirety of Barrows Road.
Yeah, the entire length
Think
of Barrows Road. That's a good
that's the
point.
difference.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, so we don't know if there's a road maintenance agreement on Narrows Road or a HOA.
Well, Commissioner Mangold, Mr. Chairman, we investigated, we did not find one, is my memory.
So in order to, even if it's just splitting properties among the one owner, he has to make an agreement with himself for a road maintenance agreement, or?
Well, this would apply to future, it'd be the one owner now, but it'd be for the two future owners of these
Okay,
two.
so it's
of these
listed
two
on the
lots.
final plat.
Yeah. Those two. And it'd be, my understanding, it'd be their portion of Barrows Road, which essentially is from this location to the east to the county road.
Mr. Chairman, I think part of the confusion that we're looking at is both 2 and 8 State Barrows Road. There is an access road in the subdivision to get to the other lot, it looks like. So is one of them referring to the access into the other lot, or are they gonna do a new access off Barrows Road?
Commissioner Overfield, Mr. Chairman, my understanding is for proposed lot 1, which is to the east, there already is an access. They're
Right.
proposing their own access
Okay,
to proposed lot 2.
okay. So
Yeah.
I don't know if we need
So yeah,
those.
these both, my understanding, both these conditions relate to Barrows Road.
Mr. Chairman, will this be cleared up then as we get toward final plat when conditions are met and you give us the final as to what's been taken care of?
We will
One or
do
the
that.
other.
Yes.
Any more questions for staff?
Yeah.
This is a public hearing, so if anybody from the public would like to step forward and give comment, just ask that you speak in the mic and state your name for the record.
Come on, Tommy.
Here.
Any public comment?
No compliments. Thank you, Barrows.
Yeah, don't go there.
Any public comment?
Mr. Chairman, move to close public hearing.
Second.
Been moved in second to close public hearing. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Pleasure to the board.
Mr. Chair, move to approve the Erickson subdivision preliminary plat with staff recommendations.
Second.
Been moved in to approve the Erickson subdivision preliminary plat with conditions. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
6:38.
Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next one is not a public hearing, but we'll be on break until 10:45. Okay.
I know.
Okay, the next item on the agenda. We have Kim Dillman and Erica Decker with Park County Planning and Zoning Department on Ramunda minor subdivision 98 final plat.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the staff report was shared with you and with the applicant in advance of today's meeting. All the facts, all the findings are in the packet. I want to summarize some of the key findings and facts for you today, but the complete packet will remain on in the file in our office. And before I start with the summary of findings, Mr. Chairman, I do want to say we just received a revised final plat this morning. I shared that with you. And there's essentially one condition or one note that is to be changed. And we have that note shown on lot 1. I have it highlighted. And then under easements dedicated this plat to the bottom right, I have the same thing highlighted. Those two notes say the same thing. So basically what the applicant wanted to do was change the access easement on lot 1 parallel with Pony Trail. They wanted to make that go to 40 feet from 30. So this says that now that access easement will be 40 feet. That's the only change, Mr. Chairman. So in terms of this project, Grant Cadwalader and Alexander Few are the applicant and the owners. They submitted a final plat application on June 30th of this year. We did receive a final plat today. The applicants request approval to create 1.91 acre lot for residential use from an existing 47.31 acre parcel. An approximately 45.40 acre remainder parcel will result should the subdivision be approved. The applicable regulations for this development are Park County, Wyoming Development Standards and Regulations 2025. This subdivision is classified as a minor subdivision. The property is in a GRP zoning district. The lot size as proposed is consistent with that zoning district. This property is developed that has a single family residence and some accessory structures. This proposed subdivision is not located within 1 mile of any municipality. A public hearing is not required for minor subdivision final plat reviews. Relevant agencies were notified as required. We have not received any new agency responses after the Board of County Commissioners reviewed the sketch plan. We did receive one written public comment, that's been a month or two ago, from an adjacent landowner. They were in favor of this proposed subdivision. The Board of County Commissioners reviewed and approved the sketch plan on June 16th of this year with conditions noted in resolution 2026-28. And the applicant had placed the appropriate notes and conditions on the final plat regarding further subdividing, high groundwater, water quality test results, and permitting of wells. Final plat specifications have been met according to appendices C, E, and G of the regulations. The applicants have also submitted supporting documents as specified in Appendix D of our regulations, and a subdivision improvements agreement is not required. Mr. Chairman, should the board choose to approve the final plat for the Remuda MS 98 subdivision, we recommend the following conditions. And there's just two. One, the approval of this final plat shall expire after 18 months unless the final plat is signed by the chairman of the board and recorded in the clerk's office. Upon written request prior to the expiration date and for good cause shown, the board may grant an extension of the expiration date for a period not to exceed 6 months. And number two, the applicant shall otherwise comply with standards in the Park County Development Regulations and the minimum subdivision requirements as set forth in Wyoming Statute 185306. Mr. Chairman, we're happy to answer any questions should you have any.
Questions, staff?
Mr. Not really for staff, more for possibly, I may know the answer. I'm not sure where. My question is, does the board have the authority to override administrative relief once it's granted?
Good question.
Mr. Chair,
Believe so.
I think this came up when we were talking about it the first time, and I think that in the regulations, that was the question that we asked, and I think there was a section in there that the board could, I think.
It sounds familiar.
Mr.
I
Chairman.
can't remember where in the regulations it was, but I do remember us having this discussion.
Because of that question, I guess my concern, which I went back and I read the Planning and Zoning Commission's minutes. And there seems to still be quite an issue possibly with the size of the easement. And my concern is with many of the Planning and Zoning Commission members are the same, and that is we've allowed administrative relief or deviations from the easements that bite us in the butt later moving down the road. So and I know we minorly adjusted it with another 10 feet, but our typical today's standard is 60 for a larger development. This has the potential for development further down the road. So my concern is with the size, even the 40-foot easement.
Commissioner Phil?
My conversation with the county engineer on part of this is interior subdivision roads and what they're doing with the updated standards. Graded, they are not in place at this time, but they are looking, and he is looking at state and WIDOT type of conversations about traffic numbers and all those kinds of things. And he is projected to drop it to 40 feet with interior subdivision roads that are not county, will not be county carriers. I guess I'll use it that way. And so I think that adding the 10 feet gives us more than planning and zoning had by making it the 40-foot width that I understand will hopefully be coming in as the new standards to make this work on interior subdivision roads.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Overfield, I hear what you're saying. In an interior subdivision, and if that's all it will stay, but to the west has the potential of being larger. And that's where my concern is off of Pony Trail, I believe it is. And he didn't really, I remember the conversation with our county engineer, and yes, the new standards wouldn't meet this, where he wouldn't even have to give administrative relief. But that would still only be for this development. And if further development down the potential of it with that easement it could restrict.
There is only a 30-foot easement south of it, so they're already giving up more than the neighbors below.
Mr. Chair.
On this plat is what's indicated.
Right.
My understanding.
Just reading from the meeting minutes from P and Z. It says that Brian Edwards said that what has been granted, the road Pony Trail entire length does not meet the county standards for road width 24 feet or right-of-way easement 60 feet. In the new rules, they want to move to 40 feet, which is state law. So state statute is 40 feet. So they're going to align the new standards to state statute. So I think with this 10-foot additional, they've met that 40 feet, correct?
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
I also believe that in the future, if it is broke up, there is no reason that the county can't make them add additional easement if it's necessary at the time, depending on the size of the development, because there's land on both sides. It's not like it's restricted with a drain or anything like that. So it's possible that whoever the future owners are, or even the current owners making a change or developing it, could be asked to do a little bit more if it looks like the traffic numbers or whatever the state statute is at that time.
So does Pony Trail, does it come straight off of the highway? Or does it curve? I'm trying to see the map.
Comes off the highway.
It looks like it
Well,
came off 295.
Yeah.
It has a slight curve. And is that through one property owner?
Yeah.
And have they been confronted to ask for the addition to match the 40 feet?
Yeah, because the administrator really was granted, there was not a conversation.
You're willing to give another 10. It'd be nice to still not restrict it at this point. And, I know it falls on you, but as you were saying, further development falls on them, and it's just kind of dominoes. So I'm just wondering if there was a way to fix it now even to the 40 feet.
For the Whitlock property
No,
South.
the Pony Trail part.
To the north end,
that's not developed.
down here. Down here, there's another lot. Here's like here. If you go to the plat.
Just one, just one.
Todd
think
Richardson's
I
property.
think it shows. No, it doesn't show. Okay, right here. That's a different owner as you come off of.
Exactly.
But Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that we can expect a different landowner to approach a neighbor and saying, hey, you willing to give 10 more feet out of your land in order to make their stuff work? I mean, we don't
That's what's
usually do that.
happening, Mr. Chairman.
What do you mean?
That's what happens all the time.
Only if they're proposing that in that subdivision. I don't know that we can hold up this landowner as long as they've met the requirements on their property.
Well, and on top of that, they're willing to meet the state statute.
Right, on their property.
On their
They have no
property.
control over their neighbor.
So he's wondering about this property right here.
Todd Richardson's.
It would require him to give 10 more feet.
Right. But I don't know that we can hold up this request to require him to
And
get,
Pony Trail is not a county road.
No.
So
it's an access.
Mr. Chair, I feel comfortable moving forward that, and I appreciate that the landowners have agreed to give another 10 foot of easement in compliance with state statute that, and I think that that's what I understood from Mr. Edwards was that that's how moving forward, how the road and bridge standards are going to read.
But Mr. Chairman, moving forward, Pony Trail would still be out of compliance.
We have a lot of them that will be.
The rest,
And that's my point. If we can fix it now.
I don't.
I don't know how we can make the
how we
other.
fix it.
We request the applicant to get an additional 10 feet on Pony Trail easement for their,
Well, the problem I have with that is these people reside there and what's their incentive to give 10 feet?
Hmm.
And you never know if neighbors even get along,
I know,
you know,
but
I just hate to hold up the process just to rely on somebody giving an additional 10 feet for that little section.
what if everybody here wants to, if they want to develop, they have to bring a whole new road in.
Well, I guess you gotta cross that bridge, but I mean, is getting that little section of 10 feet. Again, I
Then
mean,
it would put it in state compliance. With
So-
with the new regulation.
well, I guess my question is, we hold up this landowner. Hoping they can get that, and maybe they don't get along, I don't know, but I mean, you know, there might be encompasses, there might be some things in there that they can't get the additional 10 feet. And then at the same time, do you go over here to this person for 10? I mean, it's just.
Mr. Chairman, I understand the concerns and I understand the thought process on future. I just think there's a lot of things that we don't know what's going to develop in the future. So with that, I'm going to make a motion that we approve the Remuda minor subdivision 98 final plat with the additional 10-foot easement as provided today.
Second,
Then moved and second to approve the Remuda minor subdivision 98 final plat as presented with the additional 10-foot easement. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
aye.
Any opposed?
I,
Motion carried.
Resolution 2026-39.
Thank you, Colleen.
You're welcome.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you for your time.
What would we have for any? If they just say no,
then they don't get a subdivision.
who does? The one up above that's willing to give the 40 feet doesn't get to subdivide? Then you wouldn't approve the subdivision because that guy wouldn't give 10 feet?
Also, you're out.
Yeah, next up, we have Russell Stafford, Patriot Community Center Planning Committee, Fairgrounds Use Report.
Yes, sir. And we also have Donald Meschke, from the VFW, also a member of the Patriot Community Center.
Great. Thanks for coming.
Just letting you know that we have all of our. And hi.
The important part.
Thank you for having us today, and we appreciate you taking this consideration for us. Thank you, Chairman and Commissioners. What we're asking for is you've given us your letter of support, which we greatly appreciate and everything like that. As it's come forward, sorry, I forgot I needed to talk in here because I speak so softly. As it's come forward, we are using the fairgrounds a lot more than we anticipated because this is getting a little bit bigger and bigger as it goes on, which is fantastic. We've had a Veterans of Foreign Wars held a car show there. When was that? Back in May. And it was a fundraiser for the Patriot Community Center. We're actually at the fairgrounds this week for the fair. With Patriot Community Center having a booth down there. And then we have the Patriot Community Fundraiser Dinner coming up in September, and we're using the fairgrounds. I forget which facility it is. If you need that, I can give it to you. And so it's just becoming apparent that we're using it more and more as we go on. And so we're just asking, so we don't have to ask every time, for your consideration in either allowing us to use it as it has been with fees extremely reduced or no fee at all. So that is our request at this time. And there are a couple organizations that work with us raising the money for this. It's the American Legion Auxiliary, Sons of the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign War and their auxiliary. We have finally gotten the Disabled American Veterans chapter in Park County. They're becoming active again because of this facility coming up. And we know they'll be wanting to try and do some things as well. We have the VNN.
Veterans Navigation Network group out of Billings. They help with transition for soldiers coming out of the military. They're looking to get an office into northern Wyoming. So they're looking at our building to get somebody there to help our veterans too.
And then obviously the Patriot Community Center and the American Legion Riders. Those are the main organizations that are with us at this point and look to do fundraisers in the future. So that's it now. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just so I'm following correctly. So we're wanting to use the fairgrounds. Can you clarify, is it, and you might have already said this, but just so I'm tracking. Are you wanting to just use Heart Mountain Hall and kitchen, or was it the whole fairgrounds and it's on September 25th and the 26th, correct?
That is the Heart Mountain Hall for the dinner. But we have used the grass area for the car show. I know that we've used both facilities, the Heart Mountain Hall and what's the other hall? Homesteader Hall. We've used both of them. And what was some of the other ones you guys were talking about?
So next year, May 16th, that's when we're going to try to hold our car shows is on Armed Forces Day of every year. The one we're planning up going for next year, we're hoping to have a cornhole tournament going on, figure eight racing, car show, vendors. So it's going to be hopefully a really big event. So kind of the whole fairgrounds is what we're looking at for our next car show. That way we could pull more community events into the fairgrounds and hopefully raise more money.
Commissioner Teal?
Will you be charging admission for these or just having direct, other fundraising events inside? Is it open to the public?
It's always open to the public.
Always open to the public.
Yep.
Will there be admission?
Admission, I don't know, but there would be a fee associated with them coming and doing. That's how we would be raising the money. So
Yeah, I understand. I'm just trying to find a gray area here where, because of our rule, if you're using it for fundraising, if you're having a drawing or card thing there,
Correct. And
That's, to me, I think we could kind of turn their head a little on it, but if you're charging just to come in, I think that would be, I don't know. I'm trying to.
if that was
figure out
one
a
of the
way around it.
stipulations, we
I-
would be fine not doing that. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Commissioner, I don't have a problem with the reduced rate, even though it is kind of used as a fundraiser, you know, 50% reduction for all those states, but as long as we don't charge admission,
Well, it says with nonprofits,
they are nonprofit.
Okay. Okay.
But
Now
even
that
in
covered-
nonprofit, if there's
Does
used
say
as a
50.
fundraiser, they're supposed to pay full price, and I get that. But
no,
50%.
it says if it's a fundraiser, they charge 50%.
So if they, for the event where they want to do the whole fairgrounds, but I think the stipulation may be, sorry, Mr. Chair, I think the stipulation may be if you're wanting it to use the fairgrounds, so for the one you're talking about in May, if you're wanting to use the entire fairground so that no other event will be able to take place at the same time, then you would have to pay the 50% is how I understand it.
And we could do that, cause we don't, like our car show, we charge the cars coming in. I'm not sure how the figure eight race is going. We haven't worked, we're still working details there, but we don't charge anybody to come into the fairgrounds to look at the cars or to look at the vendors. We charge the cars, the vendors, a little fee to, and that's how we raise our money, plus sponsorships. That's how we raise our money. No, we want to make sure the public come in for free so they could enjoy it and have a good time.
But you would need the whole space so that, let's say someone
Yeah.
else wanted to rent it, they wouldn't be able to at that point.
Yeah, for this, what we're planning, we'd pretty much take up the whole fairgrounds.
And Mr. Chairman,
Hmm.
what about for the dinner? Are you just talking about the Heart Mountain Hall or are you talking about, Heart Mountain Home Kitchen, I guess? Are you talking about not having anything else on the fairgrounds at that time?
No, it would just be Heart Mountain Hall. We're not,
Okay.
that's the only
So
thing
if
that we
somebody
request.
at Homesteader, you'd be okay with that?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's just Heart Mountain Hall.
so, Mr. Chair, you're saying that's on the 26th, 25th, 26th?
That's what
26.
26, yeah.
that's what events is telling me.
Well, I think it's a very noteworthy cause. And it's hard to sit here and say that one's not a noteworthy cause on another thing, but this is very evident to me what they're trying to accomplish here. And I think part of me says what a government entity is going to charge an entity like this, the same as another entity that's making profit for their own good, whether it be a different club or whatever. I think this is separate for me.
Kind of a community project.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I agree 100%. I'm not sure I want to go to for any time in the future kind of a thing.
Right.
But I'm more in favor of waiving the fees for this specific event. But I don't want to, as you said, you're using it more and more, and I think you will be already giving you a 50% discount on everything, but this event here, I have no problem waiving the fees for this event, but I'd be reluctant to say in the future.
Mr. Chair, I definitely agree. It's a great cause. So that being said, my only question is if we waive the fee for one nonprofit, then are we setting a precedent for all the others? And then how do we determine what? My issue is consistency. Like, how do we determine? I don't want it to be arbitrary. And so that's my only hesitancy is, are we setting a precedent? What is the exception with this compared to the other nonprofits? Because there's a lot of nonprofits with great causes that it's hard, so I'm not saying that yours isn't. I just don't know how we apply consistency here. But, and I agree with you in the future, if we're using it more and more, that can set a precedent.
Well, and one of the things that sets this aside for me is you could have And I'm not picking on any other nonprofit. You can say you get Rocky Mountain Elk, Ducks Unlimited, all these nonprofits that could request, and this is a whole different ballgame. So I know setting a precedence is a bad idea, but I think in a case like this where you can show us for a community service locally right here in Park County, this nonprofit is set aside from a lot of these other organizations. I mean, if somebody were to come to me, say, again, not picking on Ducks Unlimited or anything because I belong to them, but if they're coming in to raise money, that's a whole different ballgame. I mean, they shouldn't get any discount for me. Even though they're a nonprofit. Yeah.
Absolutely agree with everything that's been being said. The only thought process is to not put ourselves in a huge bind. What if in this instance, we agreed to 25% covering our custodial fees and utilities and the things that some of this is, but may not cover it because of the time frame or the amount that the building is used, but at least it wouldn't be completely free that someone else may come in and have the same type of argument for, but it's less. By 75% than what normal would be doing. It's just an option. I don't.
Mr. Chair, I recall relatively recently that either it was a policy or a form that we had for Billy to use, and is it in here?
Yeah.
Well, he talks about it.
I don't see the actual form, I just see his letter.
Right.
Is there anything on there that says that?
Well, it does, the form does, Mr. Chairman, the form does have uses if they're nonprofit, 4-H, FFA schools, county government, that kind of stuff is listed. It talks about whether they have a 501c3 on that form that they can provide so that it is proven that they're a nonprofit. And then they do the 50% if it's a fundraiser type of thing and any other equipment charge. And of course, you'll be using the kitchen too, which is kind of significant at times. And the kitchen does have to be completely professionally cleaned after a use like this because of it being used by the public. And that's kind of where I'm leaning on the 25%. So I understand that, it would be a great donation if we can do it for the whole thing. I just don't know that we can make that happen. Or should.
Mr. Chairman, would you guys be willing then to pay for the cleaning or the additional equipment?
Yes,
If we were
sir.
able to figure-
Yes.
That's probably about the 25%. I don't know where the math would come
I don't know
out,
where it
but
comes out. I'm just,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Oh. I don't know how they figure that.
I don't know either. It says that they have to pay charge for any equipment or use. Did we require a action on this? Or is it
Billy needs a notice of some kind as to what to
To do.
a motion?
Mr. Chair, I could support if these guys are willing, I could support the 25%. I think that would cover incidentals and cleaning fees. And I think, I think that if you guys are willing for that.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're just here asking for the support, and that's fantastic support right there. So.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to move that we allow the Legion to use the fairgrounds. My letter says 25th and 26th, so I'm going to give you 2 days. At a reduced rate of 25%.
25%.
And it's the Patriot. Community Center.
For a 25% fee. To cover any cleanup cost and use of equipment.
Second.
Mr. Chair, just as a point of clarification, is it the American Legion that we need to make the motion for, or is it the Patriot Community Center
Patriot
Planning
Community
Committee?
Center.
That's what you need? Okay.
With that correction.
Been moved and seconded to approve the Patriot Community Center Planning Committee to use fairgrounds for the
25, 26.
25, 26 at a rate of 25% of normal charge. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Thank you all very much. Thanks for taking the time to listen to us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very
for
much.
everything you guys are doing.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
Can I bring my Volkswagen to your car show?
Absolutely. Everything's.
Charge him,
Everything.
Charge them double.
Use the motor.
That's gonna be at the 26th. We'll try. All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Next, we have Brian Edwards in the engineer's office and Jeff Martin, Homeland Security, to discuss the bridge over Boulder Creek with all the little water we had.
I think we need to put Lee on the line to listen to this.
He just sent me a text, I took a trail right him home. For years.
Yeah, Lee Livingston, he sent me a text when that happened. He said, I told you we should have replaced that
Yeah,
bridge. a couple
Yeah, and for 5 years I've been sitting here, it was like, no, you're gonna drive over with the horse trailer, it's no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Just give you a little bit of an update. Jeff can speak to the county-wide or the issues outside county, but most of the flooding that we had as related to the county road bridge system was up the upper South Fork and Hunter Creek Road. We had a close call with the bridge over Boulder Creek. The bridge is still standing. Took a pounding for several hours, water going over the bridge, both sides. Had mud and trees that completely plugged the bridge at one point. So we were able to get that dug back out. The road bridge crew Wednesday, or that was actually Thursday night, they got that dug back out and got the bridge back open for local traffic. We were able to get a track hoe excavator across it and a motor grader so that we feel pretty comfortable up to, it was load rated before at 35 tons. And that's what we're saying now to, we feel pretty comfortable with that. The bridge did sustain some damage on the abutments, mainly the uphill side, the up gradient side. Got hit pretty hard and some of the abutments are rotated a bit and separating and the deck even before the flooding was in need of replacement. So some of you recall we looked at this particular bridge with Federal Highways back when we did the South Fork project. So we have a design that will have to be dusted off, but this was 2019, 2020. They had done Federal Highways some geotechnical work, so some borings, some hydraulics. And so we've got a lot of the front work done that I think we could build on. But I think with the condition of the bridge, it was built in 1956, the age, we need to get a bigger opening, a bigger span, more depth, and actually build the road up some too. I think that we should accelerate going ahead and getting that bridge put in place. It was in our top 5 to replace anyway. You know, we were hoping to buy a little bit more time, but I think it's something we should try to go ahead and get done. Then related to that, we of course had several mudslides up the South Fork too that you've read about in the papers and whatnot. And they were able to, that would be Wednesday night last week, the road bridge crew, that D7 came in very handy. Having that 7 was able to blast some holes through it to get enough lane width to get traffic in and out. So as of now, you know, nobody's stranded, everybody can get through. There's a lot of cleanup still left to do. We've got a bunch of material, particularly on the South Fork, some up on Hunter Creek too, but a lot of material that's got to go somewhere that we're going to have to work out. A lot within the right of way, a lot of plugged culverts, a lot of ditches that are full. So there's a lot of work to be done, but we're trying to get through our chip seal season and the road's passable. So this fall they'll work on doing some cleanup work. But that's kind of the status of the road bridge stuff. We're looking probably for this bridge that we're looking could be in the range of you know, this is really rough, but Ben thought 650. I'm thinking $750,000 ish to put in a temporary bypass, all the permitting that has to go on with the Corps of Engineers, and then a permanent bridge that we would look at. It'd be probably at least a 50-foot span, and then go with that 16-foot width. We might look at the double width like the Nancy Draper Bridge, if you're not familiar with that one. Just to see what the cost difference. If the cost difference isn't a lot more, we might go ahead and just do the 2-lane bridge. But I think the 16-footer would work fine if the costs are quite a bit different.
Well, I would say kudos to the road and bridge guys because I visited that the next day And it was impressive what they did and just in the long time they spent in the night doing it, but it was all passable, but it was impressive the amount of water still running 24 hours later through that bridge. But they were busting tail to get what they opened up and get it done.
No, our crew did an amazing job. We had, I think Jeff and really the sheriff's office, the BLM, we had good coordination, I think, with various agencies, a lot of help and making sure people weren't stranded. I think there were some people that were stranded on the Hunter Creek Road, but were able to get to where they could walk across the bridge. And then we got that, I think that was Wednesday night, and they were having people shuttle and pick people up. So I thought all that was pretty good. Had good help from everybody. We've had a lot of since follow-up conversations with trying to locate bypass bridges and things like that. We're working with some different entities there, got some options that we could look at. So
And one of the things for the board's information, I've talked to Brian, I've talked to the sheriff and to Jeff, and when anything needs to happen as fast as I do, you're going to have communication issues. There's a lack of communication or something gets missed. And so we all agreed that we want to maybe have a debriefing this next week and sit down with all the players and say, because I've received complaints from the community on certain things, and a lot of the times it's just communication. So what I want to do is sit down with these guys and all the players, the communications division, the sheriff's office, and look at the complaints, look what we've had and see if we missed the ball or what we can do different. And that's something we always say with search and rescue is every mission where you went out and you debriefed. So if somebody had something that didn't work out right, whether it's communications or there's something, you always miss something. So that's where these debriefs come in so that the next time don't miss certain items. So we're going to probably get together next week. And I'd invite one other commissioner if they want to sit in and one person is saying this, one of the members that's contacted me of search and rescue said this went wrong. And then come and find out these guys have talked to these other people. And so there's some miscommunication. We'll debrief on that next week and see what we missed.
yeah, no, I think that'd be a really.
And one of the guys I talked to was one of the guys who is a pilot for Barron Collier. And, hey, what were they wanting, and there were some people that wanted a chopper in there to fly out food and then, go out and get food and come back. And so we had a lot of discussion on this and we won't go into those details, but we'll debrief and then have a little report done afterwards.
No, I think that's a great idea. We tried to best we could communicate through Jeff and you, the best we could. And I know that's always, we did have a lot of help. BLM was out there doing a lot of drone work and
Right.
They were pretty heavily involved.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, our first phone call, we were basically in Powell chip sealing, the whole fleet. So the mob to get up there was Powell to the Upper South Fork. So it's I called Bob Curtis, big thanks to him.
Mhm.
He's like, I'm 5 minutes away. I go, I'll tell you if your bridge is still there or not. And he had his own bridge problems.
Yeah.
So, just the people up there are good to work with, but
Mhm.
thanks to them, because if we can't get there, it's 45 minutes if you're on it. And they're dropping their stuff to run up there. Check.
Well, I want to thank everybody that did participate and we got through it as smooth as possible, really. Moving forward, my question is, whose property is this bridge on?
It's all on Forest Service.
All on.
Yeah,
Is there room within a right of way, or would it be worth maybe looking at using the existing for bypass and move the bridge up or down?
Ben and I talked about that, and that's something we'll explore that as a possibility. There's gonna have to be so much work with the channel itself too, that we're gonna have to work a lot. Ben's already talked with the hydrologist with the Forest Service. There's gonna have to be a lot of coordination between them, Corps of Engineers. So, I mean, at this point, my thought was to do the temporary bridge and then just keep it on the alignment so we don't have to go through the headache of acquiring another easement because we've only got 60 feet there. And with the way that slope is, I don't know that there's enough room.
The alignment's pretty
The-
solid the way it is right now.
Yeah,
We should have brought pictures.
but we want
I
to.
have video.
There's a lot of them circulating. We got a lot of pictures. But we're wanting to build the road up too. So there's a lot we need to work through still.
Good job.
But I think at this point, I guess if you're in agreement, we'd like to get that done this fiscal year and try to try to get something going on that bridge.
Mr. Oldfield?
I agree with you. Thanks for the work. I think we've all seen your budget and how things work with projects and things that do and don't get done throughout the year. So I'm wondering if we don't say, go ahead, because we know this is important. And then we figure out what those costs are. We get toward the end of the year, figure out what projects you did get done, didn't get done, where your budget's at.
Mhm.
But there'll be a very good reason to amend his budget if we need to due to this project. But I don't know that we need to do anything right now because we really don't know what those costs are gonna be.
I think that's wise at this point until we get some firm costs and cost estimates on it.
Mr. Chair, I also very much thank the Road and Bridge crew for all their work. And I think it was really important that you guys shared a lot of that on social media so people could see what was going on kind of real time. And the Cowboy State Daily covered it, and it's kind of nice for me because I was out of town, so I could actually see what was happening. But I think it's an important reminder as well to the public as to why we have reserves. For things like this, even if we don't have to amend the budget later, but it's an important reminder that reserves are for things like this that come up that are unexpected or unplanned for. So, but anyway, kudos for the work.
It could have been a lot worse if the
Well,
bridge,
the
if the
funny
bridge would have
part-
completely been gone, it could have been, and stranded the people that live up there. That could have been a logistical nightmare for
The
these
funny part
guys.
was on Tuesday, we were talking about reserves.
Yeah.
Going over reserves and talking about the one that took out the bridge up there before tied into reserves. And the next day we were talking about that very same bridge. And then on Wednesday, all hell breaks loose. you
Yeah,
know?
we didn't see that coming at all.
No. And the amazing thing is, we had to pick up a bunch of 17 people that couldn't make it out to South Fork. They were up on a pack trip and had to go around to Du Bois. But the amazing thing is both them rivers are still mud, North Fork and South Fork. But you go to Deer Creek, that Wednesday when I was up there, or Thursday, Deer Creek and Cabin Creek were crystal clear and barely flowing water. It just missed them, but both them rivers are still mud.
Yeah, they are.
It must have knocked
incredible.
a bunch of stuff down up above.
Well, and Ben could tell you too, that some of the images we've got from the Forest Service, there's some big log jams
Huge.
up high that
costs.
they're kind of nervous about if something busts loose again. There's a bunch of trees.
Years
still
ago,
up there.
there was a flash flood on the Grove Bond to cover, they basically built a dam. And it took them a lot of dozer work to open that thing back up. And then it just flows mud for the next 2 months.
Yeah, there's a lot of cleanup that's gotta happen.
So on that lower side of that dam, all that debris, that's not us. I mean, I'm talking about all the logs.
All the logs and stuff. No, I would think that'd be a Forest Service issue to whether and what they want to do about it. Especially they're talking about what to do on that log jam because there's a big dam of logs up high, up above the bridge that they're gonna have to deal with. So no, I think our focus is on the bridge, but we are gonna have to do some channelization because the channel's just completely destroyed. So it's completely built in to fix it.
Yeah.
Well, I think of the big thing and Jeff, what do you have?
So I know we're gonna get into it at our next meeting, so I won't go into the actual details of it, but when I first got the phone call, it came from dispatch. And it was that the bridge had washed out, so my first thought was, let's notify Willows and get them rolling too, if there's resources that they can provide. The first resource that they offered up was, of course, we needed helicopters to head into evacuate people, which is why I appreciate I'm getting some intel from you guys. I know Bill's team went up there, they started talking to people. It didn't sound like at that time you needed that resource, but they were gonna be on standby. Second resource was Army Corps of Engineers. And I told them, we might need an access bridge. And she said, well, that's something that they can provide. And then turns out talking with the Army Corps of Engineers, I know they have a job to do. They're a regulation agency. I said, well, we're not near the regulation. We are in the response stage and we need equipment. And that was just something that they couldn't provide, which is unfortunate, but I'm sure they're gonna be a big help with the regulation work. That
We're excited about it.
I think the initial response was great. I had a lot of video and stuff coming to my email, which was good. So you can kind of assess what was happening with the drone footage. It's great. It's good to see actually how wide that was. So keeping in the conversation with Willows, it came up at some point that there were people stranded and life threatening, and that was just again fixing that intel piece and the communication from everybody on scene. That they were getting 2 reports. The air crew was coming back from a training mission and they were ready to fly to Cody and pull people out. But the info I had from the incident commander was, we are not there, we don't need it, and so. They kind of squashed the Black Hawk thing until we got further info, and then it turned out that we had people that were stranded, but it was not. In peril of life loss, so scrubbed that mission. Looking forward, I mean, we're still in the response stage, we're at a marginal risk of flooding tonight. And we're at a slight risk, which is actually more than marginal risk for tomorrow, so. Like, looking forward, when I talked to the Army Corps was, you know, I don't care about permits right now, I care about what are some things that we can do to make it safer. For not only people working, but people that live up there and some of the people like in the backcountry. Regulatory agency, but in further conversation, it does sound like. This meets the criteria for emergency permitting, and based on that, we can do a lot of the work without having to get the permits drawn up front, we can get it done later. But even further, once we get past this weather event, I think the prudent thing to do on my end is meeting up, talking to Brian, because there's a lot of hazard mitigation money out there. If there's things that we can do up in some of those parts, North Fork, South Fork, we can go and do protective work, whether it's shoring up banks or anything like that. Like, there's money available for that, and I think we'd be smart to identify some areas in the county where we can use that money. But I don't think a lot of people in the state and a lot of the counties have access to it, so it's there and it's available. We just need to identify what the project is.
Well, in something like this, I mean, we all know Mother Nature is a very powerful thing. And comes on fast, and you look at that reservoir, I drive by it every day, and you look how far it come up, and then you still got all this. Fresh water, you know, clear water above the dam, but below the dam is mud. And it's because they've opened up all them bottom gates to dump water out to get, you know, it looks like, that's my guess, is to get ready, because it's still coming up fast. And it's running mud out the bottom of the reservoir, because so they must have opened all them lower floodgates.
And that's the downside, and talking to the weather service almost daily during the thing, and, you know, hey, you're gonna get this monsoonal moisture, it's slow moving, it drops a lot of rain, you just don't know where. And so it's kind of a guessing game, you know, when these things develop, where the water comes down and trying to stay ahead of it. That's hard to do. We need people on the scene that can actually look at it and say, this be a problem. Won't have resources for it.
Mr. You talk about getting the new bridge done. Is there anything we can do on the existing bridge to make sure that it's safe at least?
We've had structural engineers look at it, and so we're still in that process to see if there's something that we can do to shore up you know, the abutments, because there are some things that have kind of moved out of place a little bit. So we're looking at that right now.
You talked about a temporary bridge. Are those available in case the structure goes out? Can we get one quick, or how does that work?
Well, we're working on that too. We have it's a company called Acro Bridge that's like an erector set, and they've done bridges like this. They did one for Lincoln County. We've got another one down in Washington County that we might be able to access. So we're trying to come up with something just in case, but we're looking at, it may be in the county's interest at some point to acquire one of these that's like an Acro Bridge that's a 50-footer, 60-footer that we have available that you could just roll out and set up. And the abutments are pretty simplistic on what you need, and they could be within, you know, a day, 2 days, you can have a backup bridge in place. It's something YDOT supposedly has some in their arsenal too, but yeah. We're looking.
How many people are we affecting up there? Are we talking about hundreds of people, or?
You have a number for that,
Yeah, the count that I had ranged anywhere from 50 to 60, and it's seasonal. There's a lot of cabins and literally back there that some may be inhabited, some may not be. So that the count we're looking at right now is about 50.
Well, there's a trailhead,
Yes.
so you don't know how many,
Yeah.
I mean, we do now, but there was a
Forest Service has
trailhead in the
facility
Forest
up there
Service.
as well.
Yeah.
I'm
Which they moved
thinking
on there.
that if there was some kind of notification for them that this bridge will not take a certain weight, we can get that message out to those people.
Yeah, and we have notified, Jeff, I don't know if you have avenues to do that. We've notified through the sheriff's office, and that, you know, local traffic only, and then up to 35 tons as far as the load rating.
We could use hyperreach. The problem with hyperreach is outside of that presidential level of emergency, we only get people that have subscribed to the actual service. if it was imminent and widespread and hit that level of presidential, then we could hit everybody, but we're just not there for a notification. So I think the social media is good as much as we can do on social, and we can do a hyper reach as well. Probably have some people down that are subscribed, but just get those regulations.
And also I'll say, Mr. Chair, that the couple of the ranches up there is a Wild Horse Red, that they were the first ones that notified us, that called us about the bridge. So they're in close communication, and we've talked to them about what they can and can't take across the bridge. So I think at least the people that live up there have a pretty good understanding.
Yeah, and we have message boards.
Yeah, we did.
On the main intersections, and it's marked appropriately. It's kind of travel at your own risk. And I mean, when we talk about conditions.
Well, it's at our
changing
risk
in the
too.
storm, well, it in a way, as far as we're saying, we don't know exactly what condition this bridge is in. So it's the only ingress and egress there's available for them. So they need to look at that before they drive the truck and trailer across. Most of the people, the Forest Service came, got all their horses, they're out. Everybody's kind of making plans. So I think that they're adjusting to.
Yeah, but all it
knowing
takes
that
is
might
one
not be
person to
It
Yeah.
apply to me.
It was load rated before
Yeah.
this flood, so it was
Yeah.
restricted on what could go over even beforehand. So
Yeah.
we're in the same lines of what was pre-flood.
But
If you get all your permits and everything finally, what kind of timeline are you looking for a bridge?
But especially by the time we bid it out, I was thinking 6 to 8 months probably is realistic.
fast.
Going
We're looking at
fast.
Maybe next spring possibly then.
Yeah, try to get it before high water, get it in. Good thing is it's not a big bridge. Should be fairly quick to get it in, but just the process of bidding and getting a contractor involved and all that, it's gonna take a little time. And like I
And
say, I
getting-
think having the federal highways designed to at least as a guide to work off is gonna save us some time
And
too.
getting the Corps to answer the phone.
Yeah,
Will be.
they're all over us now, or they're
And I think that there's gonna be,
they're engaged, I'll say that.
I think that there's gonna be a lot of chances that we're up there cleaning this several times before. I mean, this is gonna be an ongoing maintenance thing for us because that channel is loose.
It's completely
and it's
filled in.
filling, like you can clean it up and it'll fill. And we're not even really in the, typically, like I went back and looked at like the last 3 times this has happened, it's been August. So we haven't really even hit
Well,
the,
that tomorrow will be the test.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, they had, was it Monday, water was bypassing the
Yeah.
bridge again, so it's just a day by day thing at this point, till we get that channel cleaned back up. And one more thing, Mr. Chair, somebody had asked me at staff meeting, we were talking about funding, I think you did, Lloyd, on the FEMA, as far as FEMA involvement, something like this, unless there's a disaster declaration, or can you speak on that, Jeff? Is there?
So like I said, there's mitigation grants available, so the state is a sub recipient for a bunch of grants that the feds give them. We can access those during certain times, but most of the grants and the funding is gonna be behind the president declaration, or at least the state level, so we have to authorize that. And we're not there yet. I mean, it basically, it's an event that exceeds our capability, and you guys work too effectively, so we aren't quite there. But let me check again and see if there's something else floating out there, like FEMA or maybe about FEMA grant.
Not that we'd be too excited about doing another FEMA
FEMA.
project.
The project's fine. It's waiting 4 or 5
Yeah,
years to
yeah, I
get
was gonna
reimbursed.
say,
Yeah.
That was quite a process.
Better.
It's better than not at all. True.
Any other issues? We were very fortunate. We had 17 people in the head of the South Fork, and then the Forest Service had 5 up on the trail, and we had to truck all them out, Du Bois, because they couldn't get down. And the only reason we were able to get that across is with the inReach to one of our girls up there. We inReached them and said, you guys are gonna have to go out to the side because you're not coming through that trail coming back. And we were fortunate to get them out the other side, but there was a lot of people jammed in there. And they were all due to come out on Friday.
Yep, could have been much
And
worse.
then when we got over to Du Bois side, there was a non-American cleaning crew that dumped about 200 yards of logs and everything on the road because they were clearing the road. And they were gonna keep it closed till Monday. And we're like,
Yeah, really.
So we managed to get them to clean up the road and we got in there and got them out, but. The other potential up above there was the situation because the group of 14 were out of food. Well, they were soon to be out of food because that was their plan, is to come out and be able without any food, but it worked out.
Yeah. Could have been much worse. Well, thank you.
Well, thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you.
Yep.
We'll look
appreciate it.
forward to the meeting next week.
Yep, sounds good.
Any of the other business that we didn't cover?
Mr. Chair, if I can, I just wanted to address the public comment from earlier that we received from Mr. Venata. While I appreciate his concerns, it does seem to me that it's targeted at the commissioners. I would like to request that we look, I've had the opportunity on breaks to skim his letter, and so I'd first like to say that he addresses that we are attempting to deflect when we are addressing the NCSL lobbying, using taxpayer dollars for lobbying. And just for the public who are watching, NCSL is the National Conference of State Legislatures. I would disagree that this is deflecting. I would say that it's a request to apply the same standard. So a request for consistency, certainly not deflecting. He referenced in his letter an email that he received from NCSL. I just want to make a statement that I also reached out to NCSL before we wrote our letter and received an answer from the director for the Center for Ethics and Government. He's a former Wyoming resident. Mark Quiner is his name. Mr. Venata references that he reached out to someone. It's a different person. They submitted the same response that I'm willing, we can share, but it's a public record. We received the email. What he doesn't disclose in his letter is that there's a hyperlink in here. So he's basically saying that all they do is advocate. When you click the hyperlink, it takes you to the NCSL website. When you go and click on one of the tabs on the NCSL website, it says NCSL's Washington staff lobby the Congress, the White House, and federal agencies for the benefit of state legislatures in accordance with policy directives and resolutions recommended by the standing committees and adopted at the NCSL Legislative Summit business meeting. So as a result of those policy decisions, NCSL is a nationally recognized formidable lobbying force in state and federal relations, period. So I just want to make a statement that we're not deflecting, that we're asking for consistency. So with that being said, I just wondered if we could request a letter from the WCCA stating that taxpayer dollars are not used for lobbying. And then also a letter from Brian Skorick, our county attorney, because Mr. Venata continuously brings up in letters to the editors he's written at Park County Central Committee meetings, and just now in the public comment that the commissioners are participating as precinct committee people, and that's a conflict of interest. We were duly elected as precinct people, so I would just ask that we could get a letter from the county attorney stating that we are not serving as commissioners when we're attending precinct meetings. I think that the allegation of conflict of interest is simply that. It's an allegation and it's not, there's no legal backing to that allegation. So I just wondered if we could do that because Mr. Venata does state that he's going to read our letter and all of his documentation at the next Central Committee meeting. And I think that the public needs to have full information. The next Central Committee meeting will probably be like the first Thursday in August. And so I think if we can get that done, those two letters, I think we could consider submitting them to the Central Committee so that they have all of the information. And I just wanted to see what the rest of the group's thoughts were on that.
Mr. Chair, Kelly, do you want to reach out to Jeremiah then?
I can, or if the chair wants to, it doesn't matter.
I would say if you want to, you seem to have more.
Sure.
Okay.
In line of the legalities of it, so.
And I'll reach out to the county attorney.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I would say that I do believe we're being singled out as county commissioners because there are representatives and senators that are also precinct people. And it's never brought up that it's any conflict of interest for them to be on other boards or to be elected officials and be at those same meetings and put in their input.
And Mr. Chair, additionally, there's the Wyoming School Boards Association, the Wyoming Sheriff's Association. I mean, there's a ton of associations. There's school board members that serve as precinct committee people. I don't know if Mr. Venata's issue is personal, but it does seem targeted to me. And I think that I think the public deserves all of the information, not just a portion of the information.
With that, Mr. Chairman, I would move that we adjourn and attend our work session this afternoon on the DSR.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn this public or this commissioner meeting and do the work session at 1:15. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.